consequences. Jesus, have you ever been told exactly what you need to do? Look me in a way you don't enjoy that very much. Many of the times in my and other people's lives, they've been told exactly what they need to do, things that they're told they can do, but they can't. Some examples are how we are told in the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution that we have the right to free speech. However, apparently in schools, as mentioned in many of my classes in schools, you're not allowed to have free speech, which is unconstitutional, which means going against the Constitution, which isn't really that good in America to be promised something and then not allotted that. As apparently America is land of the free, but if you're not free, if you don't have the free speech that you have been promised in the First Amendment, then technically that is a huge contradiction. That's just one of many things that you're told you can't do despite being unconstitutional, as I already mentioned. Another example is at this very slideshow, where we are told that we have to find sources that we can cite from. I'm fine at finding sources, but like when I have a topic that I can't really find sources for a topic that I want to do. If I have sources that I'm supposed to cite, then I can cite those. But if I can't cite sources, then I just decide to do this all out of my head, as I mentioned. Today I was writing this slideshow, so a couple of weeks ago, teacher, the teacher told us that we needed to read an independent book. Most kids in the class don't read the independent reading books that we are told, as told to by many of the kids in the class, because most of the kids in the class, no offense, shouldn't really be in the class. Anyway, she said some guidelines. 2 days previously to this, I purchased the Stephen King book Under the Domes, and it's around 1,000 pages long. So I was planning to read that. If I bought it 2 days ago, then I wanted to read it in school. However, we were told that we had to read a book about 300 pages long, that had to be nonfiction or historical fiction, and it had to be about World War II or oppressive regimes. So I did not really like this idea because why? We were literally told, like we've been told in the past, we can read independent reading books. So I was going to read my independent reading book, and I was like 10 pages in, probably around that. And then she just comes out of the blue, says, "Hey, you need to read another book, 300 pages." So I decided to get 1,000-page book. Well, I didn't intend for it to be 1,000 pages. I just noticed I had a book that could be good for this in my library. Not like library, my house. And got it, started reading it, pretty good. I'm like, but it is pretty strange how, like, I started a 1,000-page book and then completely I'm reading it, and then I was told I have to read a 300-page book for a month. So I won't be able to read the book that I got for another month. That really sucks, honestly. Like, it's somewhat unright, Like, who are you to say that I just can't read a book? And sure, they said that I could start reading it and finish it by the end of the week. I'm not going to finish a 1,000-page book in 7 pages. That's insane. That's reading more than 100 pages a day. Okay, so this is the main thing that I wanted to include in my presentation, and I could not find a topic that would be good, so I just kind of made my own topic, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, this is information that I really know in my head. In 1994, to deal with violent and inappropriate content in video games such as Night Trap, Mortal Kombat, the US found the ESRB, a foundation to put labels in video games to tell families what content they contained. Now, the ratings E10+, E10+, TMAO, are supposed to be a suggestion, but many of them use them as an actual age that can play a game. Like, they're only a suggestion. Anyone can play the games, like, as many people have proven. Like, for example, if a game is rated M, should that game be shielded from youth just because of the rating? In 2004, Popular Games Studio Valve released the sequel to their first title on both PC and Xbox, and later Xbox 360 and PS3, titled Half-Life 2. They said it's one of the best, most revolutionary games of all time, and yet it's rated M just because it's a first-person shooter, contains blood, which, kind of sucks. Imagine being told that there's a best game of all time out there, and you can't play it till you turn 18 or 17. I don't know, it's not really that strict. I'm like, there are ways to play games, like, that are him for the youth, but, like, what's really the point of doing it at that point? Should we really argue from playing work size is great just because it contains underage content underage people won't find appealing? What Michelangelo's statue of David? Should we allow children to view it to the fact that he's pictured nude? This is similar, not in really the same vein, but it's still adult content that everyone in the world is allowed to see. Like, they're, like, work site is great. Like, more specifically paintings and other work like that, like movies, most people are allowed to see from their parents. They're given permission. And yet, for video games, that's kind of where they draw the line, despite the fact that it's also called great, and it's over 20 years old at this point. So, why do we censor it? I'm like, we shouldn't. We shouldn't censor the statue of David. They had a whole plot line, well, not really whole plot line. It's more like a small little gag, I guess, an episode of The Simpsons about that. And that's pretty much what my whole topic is about. This slide is about. We shouldn't really censor stuff just because it's gory, it contains blood. If I stab myself, blood comes out right there. We should censor that. We should censor ourselves. No, we shouldn't. That'd be impossible. Or are we gonna put green food dye in all our bloods to censor it? No, we're not. Everyone bleeds. Like, if I fall and I scratch my arm up pretty bad, then I'm going to bleed and I'm going to see blood. However, if I see the same blood in a video game, it suddenly becomes violent. So that's kind of all. And the only difference is for me. Lastly, I would like to show you what would happen in strict countries such as China and North Korea. Either their residents are given little to no choice of their decisions. This is because most of those two countries have or are currently communist countries. North Korea, you're not allowed to visit, but still, people know that it's a communist country, and that's bad. We shouldn't allow communism, right? Like, we had America fighted a whole war about not wanting to keep communism in their country. They didn't want to have little to no choices. They didn't want their citizens to have little to no choices. Because America has always been told it's the land of the free. If it really is free, then why are we being told exactly what we can do? I'm like, the Cold War, the war that America was fighting over for communism, lasted nearly 50 years. 50 years. That's almost 2/3 of a person's lifetime there. And can you imagine one of the soldiers, or I don't think it really got physical at all, but can you imagine like one of the members of the US government who's working on this spending 50 years of his life to protect his country from communism, all for it to be failed due to the fact that in some places we still aren't being told it's the land of the free. For example, as we learned about today, as recording this, most people are still discriminated based on their religion, despite another thing in the First Amendment stating that you're free to have your own religion. You can be whatever religion you wish. There's no one religion. It's just any religion that you wish to have, you can have it. That's what pretty much America it's like all for. And like imagine one of the members of the US government seeing what like you not being able to do what you can do. Like in communism coming back in another form. Not exactly communism, but you know, it would kind of suck. Well, thanks for listening to my TED Talk. I guess probably exceeded the limit a little bit.